you work for like Asset, Alkmaar, UEFA, and obviously some data companies as well. And
Hmm.
talking about like some lessons you learn, from these roles that obviously that are brought with you in, your current role, and obviously your fan engagement consultancy, which is something that you're, been working on for many years as well.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So this started at AZ Alkmaar, where if you're in a small sized football club, because they had like 4 people on marketing,
Yeah.
um, me included. There's many topics on the table that they simply do not have the time to pick up. So I was fortunate enough that a position became available, but also that there was sort of a cherry picking moment happening.
Yeah.
So reshuffling of responsibilities, and I picked up the fan engagement part, but the data part was also important. Now, it wasn't my
Mhm.
first preference, but working under a CEO that is very closely connected to Billy Bean, you can understand there was a high demand for to work with data and to have
Right.
a more data-driven approach.
Yeah.
So, and that's something the club didn't have at all at that time. So I
Yeah.
started um, going assessing inside of the organization. Okay, what do we want to do with data? How can we improve the current business processes? What are problems that we cannot solve because we don't have the data? Going
Right.
out to the market, talking to suppliers, getting a supplier aboard, and then starting the entire process. And on the same time, parallel to that, my fan engagement, um, my other responsibility was fan engagement. So I was improving the stadium experience and trying to put on like um, improve the family stand and stuff. And
Mhm.
in the course of that job, those two parallel lines grew closer and closer together
Right.
because as I was learning from the CRM side more about the fans, I was also learning how I could improve that fan engagement part. For example,
Mhm.
we were always focusing on the family section
Yeah.
and having all the kids activities there, where from the data side, the CRM side, I could see that there were just the same amount of kids on a non family stand. So that's where we started to link these two,
Right.
understanding that hey, if we do fan engagement activities specifically for families, we shouldn't do it before the concourse, before you enter the stadium, after you enter the stadium, but before you enter the stadium. So it
Mhm.
would also be accessible to other kids that come to the stadium because there are plenty. So these were kind
Right.
of choices that data influenced fan engagement, and that's sort of what I found that was also lacking up until that point inside the market, because fan engagement was mostly about stadium experience
Right.
and was very fluffy. So it was a lot of opinion based presentations and opinion based improvements inside football organizations. And of course, everyone was sharing their win stories on Twitter and LinkedIn. So it looked nice and you would start to copy from each other, but it was very much dependent also on senior buy in. So CEO buy-in on, do you want to improve on fan engagement or not? And
Right.
adding that layer of data to it, we were able to see, based on surveys, for example, hey, what is lacking in the fan experience on the grandstand versus two of the short stands? Where can we improve on? And
Yeah.
that helped us to be the data driven information that we needed to improve the fan experience and to measure, did it improve, and how much and what else can we pick up. So
Right.
in that job they kind of got together, and that's where I also grew into the area of, hey, data is really 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 helpful source of information, next to sources of information of experience from other clubs, next to my own experience from studies. So it added a lot of information. It did not replace it, it was just an
Right.
extra source.
Yeah.